Yo, so if you've been watching Hamza for a while now, you've probably noticed something. His content feels different. And I didn't want to admit it at first, but then I saw his most recent video. Why I like selling low ticket products. High ticket is gay. Okay? I've built a business pretty much the opposite of what he recommends, and I've made thousands anyway. I get to work with clients I genuinely care about without having to hustle 24/7 and without having millions of followers. See, this video is not to bash Hamza or anything. He's improved my life a ton and I've pretty much just grown up watching his content. But after watching that video, I wanted to show you how high ticket is not just more profitable, but also far easier to start with. Yes, even as a complete beginner. So first things first, we got to clarify what's low ticket, what's high ticket. Low ticket, we're just going to use the same measurements as what Hamza says. Low ticket would be under $1,000, though most of the time it's around like 0 to 100, 150-ish. And high ticket would be anything above 1,000. So the first issue I have with Hamza's video is that he says for low ticket, you don't need to fulfill. That's true, yes, but that means every single month you start from scratch. So let's say you have a funnel similar to Hamza's. You get YouTube videos and you funnel them towards your product. Sure, so let's say one month you have a video that goes really viral, say 2 million views, and you get $10,000 from it. You feel on top of the world, you feel like a literal god, but then the next month, no viral video, you're back at zero. And honestly, the stress that brings, in my personal opinion, is not worth it. Meanwhile, if you have a high ticket service, we'll just say $1,000 a month and you have just 3 clients, that's 3K a month. And next month, if you don't have any viral videos, you still have 3K a month. You see, you don't have to start from zero. It's not reliant on traffic. Yes, you have to fulfill, but we'll get to delivering later on in the video. You see, it's a lot easier to charge someone $1,000 if they've already paid you $1,000 before, because they already know the level of quality and service you can provide. For example, I have multiple clients paying me thousands of dollars every month, and they're willing to do so because the previous month they paid me thousands of dollars and they got the results that they want. It's way easier to sell to someone who's not a stranger than someone who is a stranger. And even better, because you have the security, the peace of mind, say once again you just have 3 clients for $1,000 a month, that's enough to live a fairly comfortable life in Thailand, Bali, all these other digital nomad places which people like, just with 3 clients. Another point I wanted to bring up is that it's actually way easier to earn the same amount of money selling a high ticket service than a low ticket service. As in, it's way easier to get, say, 5 people for $1,000 a month than 50 people to buy your $100 product. The hardest barrier to break is to get people to actually pull out their credit cards. And once you get people to do that, a lot of them are willing to pay you honestly more than you think, as long as you can deliver on the service. So breaking through that barrier with 5 people and then getting them to pay 1,000 is a lot easier than breaking through that barrier with 50 people and getting them to pay 100. This is different if you have millions of followers like Hamza, Iman, all these big creators. That's why they can charge for lower ticket products. For us normies, we don't. Therefore, I recommend starting with high ticket. But you might be thinking that, hey, I don't know how I can charge $1,000 a month for a skill, because who would want to learn from me? And honestly, I do think it's a bit of a mindset shift that you need to make. But the way I see it, as long as you learn like a more in-trend, timely skill, it'll be easy enough for you to charge $1,000. Let's take it back to, say, the Industrial Revolution. Guess who earned more money? Whether it was farmers who were working in the fields all day, or some random guy who just showed up for 5 hours to work at a factory. I would say it's the random guy, because factory skills were far more essential back then. Therefore, he could charge more, he could get paid more. I mean, he didn't charge more, they were given a salary, but you get the point. Now, the same thing's happening in the internet age. There are many skills which, because companies know that they need to master these, or they need someone to help them master these, they're willing to pay good amounts for these. For example, copywriting, ghostwriting, video editing, AI mastery, content mastery. These are just some which are off the top of my head, which you could charge $1,000 a month for within a few, I would say a few weeks, but I don't want to raise false hopes. So I'll just say a few months of practice. You don't need a degree. You don't need, like I said, years of practice. All you need to do is sit down, master a craft that is a timely skill needed in the market, and soon you'll be on your way to charging thousands. I actually talk a lot more about this on X. I post there pretty much every day. I will link it in the description somewhere. This is one of my first YouTube videos, so I'm not very good at that, but it's somewhere in the description. A contrary belief when it comes to high ticket versus low ticket is that for high ticket sales, you do not actually need to hop on sales calls all the time. Let's think about it for a second. What's the main reason that someone hops on a sales call? Mainly to build trust and to see if the offer is good for them. So if you're able to do this another way, you don't need to hop on sales calls. I'm a fan of the content to DM funnel, where I post content showing my ideal client how I can solve their problems, and I get them to DM me if they're interested. It's a way that I would say soft pitches your offer before they even see your offer, That way I get clients coming to me asking, hey, how can I work with you? Instead of me having to hop on sales calls to beg them and convince them. If done right, you don't even need to take sales calls. You get on sales calls to choose and not to convince. I'll leave a free 2,000 word guide on this in the description below. I'm going to be honest, you got to give me your email and that will bring you to my email newsletter and I will sell you offers in there. If that's not your thing, no worries, just take the guide, unsubscribe, no strings attached at all. Though I will cry myself to sleep for the next 7 nights and you have to deal with that guilt. Okay, anyway, the last thing I wanted to touch on for high ticket sales is that the profit margins are just the same as low ticket sales. Technically, even higher. Because when it comes to low ticket, you got to build out a nice product. This is often done on Notion, but some people don't want to just have a Notion document because it's rather unprofessional. So they buy like an expensive website like Thrivecart, which is what, $500? Or Kajabi, which is $100+ a week to host their product. And that drops the profit margins. Whereas if you do a high ticket service where you're the one working with them instead of having to pay out of pocket for some website, then your profit margins actually go up, which is pretty interesting. I've been able to build my business. I've made over $80,000 through this content funnel I've talked about with a profit margin of 90-ish%, 95. I just have a bunch of subscriptions, which cost all under 200. Then after that, everything else is pure profit. And moving on to the last point, delivery and profit margins. So most people think that they either need a big team, which they pay thousands of dollars every month to fulfill, which drops their profit margins like crazy, or they have to work like 12, 14 hours a day. And honestly, that's not true. Let's think about it. What are the most timely skills currently in the market? Video editing. Let's say you just have 3 clients. It probably takes you 2, 3, 4 hours a day. And it's not like these guys are going to be posting videos every day either. So it's not like you have to work every day. Copywriting takes 1, 2 hours a day. You're just sitting down and writing. And you can do this anywhere with a laptop, with a phone, so and so. Content marketing. This is mostly strategizing and all in your head. Therefore, also takes 1 to 2 hours a day. All in all, what I mean is you don't need a huge team for this. And if you don't need a huge team, you're able to fulfill it yourself in 1 to, let's say, 4 hours a day. Your profit margins go up. My profit margins are at about 90, 95%. I have about $200 spent on subscriptions every month. Yeah, I've pretty much turned my business into a 1 to 4 hour a day business, which just completely runs wherever I want to, whenever I want to. And yeah, that's the power of high ticket sales. So once again, wrapping up, why I think high ticket is better than low ticket is because you don't need to start from zero. It's easier to sell. You have good profit margins and you honestly don't even need to hop on sales calls if you don't want to. I'll be posting a lot more about how I grew my online business over the last year. So if you want to see my face on your timeline more, hit subscribe and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you around. Bye.